I'm so excited. Hi guys, how are you? I'm so excited. My laundry's in the background, like obviously too excited to like actually give me a second. Just gonna. Hi guys. And I actually I put this on for the sake of it matches the thumbnail, and I took that thumbnail picture like a few days ago. Maybe more than a few days ago. But I put like a slow mode on here because someone told me that when you go live that people can come in and like spam. So just in case, that's why it says 5 seconds. But please feel free to talk. I want to chat with you guys. As I put in like the heading of the title, I am out of quarantine, living my life out here in South Korea. I hope that the Wi-Fi is good enough that you guys can hear me well. Please let me know, because if not, I can switch to my phone and use like data instead. But while I wait for maybe a few more of you guys to join, let me know if you are here. I can't see. I just see like a little bubble right here of two heads, and I would rather know your name and like where you're watching from. So feel free to leave a comment. Hi, Sammy. You're one of my like. Sammy's been my OG fan from the very, very beginning. Like, literally from the beginning. You watched like one of my first videos. Hey, girl, hey! Oh my gosh, hi. How are you guys doing? I'm just going to rant a little bit about currently a situation that I got going on. Today's my last day in Seoul, and then I'm actually moving later today to Busan. And I'm like hoping that my laundry's almost done drying. The joys of living in South Korea is allowing yourself to wait for like 6 years for your laundry to finish drying. So I washed it like 3 days ago. Still a little damp. We love to see it. My day has been good. I just woke up not that long ago. I showered, and then now we're here. How are you guys doing? Hi. Is it Leah? And it's just spelled really fun. It's my 5th day of quarantine here in Seoul. Any tips to not get sad? It's hard staying alone. Yes, girl, we are going to talk about quarantine. What it do, Marlena? How you doing? Love it, love it, love it. Love you, Marlena. Good friend from Atlanta area. Hi, Jasmine. Watching from Hawaii. Hey. How's the weather in Hawaii right now? I don't know. I'm sure it's stunning and beautiful, but we're getting cold here, and I have no idea what the weather's like in Hawaii at all. Quarantine. Yeah, so I very much want to talk about that, because if you guys didn't see the video with the thumbnail that looks a little like, that's all genuine, by the way. Like, I would never cry or something like that just to get views or anything like that. I would rather just be completely honest about what my experience was. And the first few days were rough, rough to say the least. Lots of crying, lots of sickness. Thankfully, my fever went astronomically high, like within a few minutes. Honestly, I was like, I don't feel that bad, but I'm gonna lay down. And then honestly, I probably fell asleep and I just don't remember. But all I know is that I woke up, or like 20 minutes later, I was like, I feel like death, and took my temperature, and I was like, all right. So the inside of my body is not happy today. I think at one point it was 101.8 or something like that. Insanely high. I literally was in my quarantine, like, all right, they're going to take me to some like quarantine prison. I'm going to be stranded with all these other people that have like coronavirus. Like, and I call them, I cut this out of the video, but I literally said like, do I have to pack my stuff? And she was like, pack. I was like, packing my bags? Like, do I have to pack my bags? She's like, I'm like, put my stuff away to leave. She's like, oh, no, it's okay. The medical team will come by soon. And so I'm just like sitting there, like waiting, like what's going to happen. And then they just bring me Tylenol. And I was like, oh, so I just get some medicine. Okay. But thankfully, Tylenol, my fever went down. I felt better. I would say like day 4, I felt fine, like normal. It was just like first day, I literally think I slept almost the entire day, and I would recommend sleeping as much as you possibly can because it makes the time go by faster. And then once I started to kind of feel a little bit better, I tried to get up and eat some more food, try to walk around the room more, and then start editing some videos. But yeah, I'm glad I'm feeling better too. Thank you for that. All right, I missed some of these. Um, how long will I be in Korea? I arrive in Korea February 2022. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. Korea is a wonderful country that I hope everybody visits. To answer your question, to be determined, I really, really hope that I can stay. But currently, I'm trying to figure out some visa things that make more sense for my future that would allow me to continue to make YouTube videos to help you guys out while also, like making a living and surviving. So that's always fun. But I would love to find an entertainment visa of some kind, which would allow me to do, I don't know if you guys saw, but on Instagram, I'm more active on Instagram than on YouTube, obviously, because it's like a daily posting thing. I was on another YouTube channel called Dingle, and it's like a foreigner react kind of video. And we filmed 4 videos over there. I had so much fun. I might do it again, I'm not totally sure, but stuff like that, like, I would love to continue to be able to do reaction stuff like that. I did in America, so you guys know, did some acting. I actually went to school. I double majored in education, math science, and theater, and so I've been, like, I have a hair. I've got a hair on my lip somewhere, I can't find it. But, yeah, I did theater, so I've been acting since I was, like, a little tater tot of a child, and I'm an only child, so my parents, like, shoved me into, like, sports and theater so that I wouldn't come off like a only child that doesn't, like, know how to interact with people or is, like, I guess, super selfish, I don't know. So that's how I, like, made a bunch of my friends. That's, like, I don't know, theater, like, raised me, I guess you could say, like, I was raised on the stage. So, I would love to be able to do something here in Korea with acting, but I'm just not totally sure. The entertainment visa, I don't know if any of you guys are interested. It is very difficult to come by. It's much better to be in Korea when you're making those connections and meeting those people because there's a lot of, like, if you're not in Korea, there's a lot of people that try to scam you and try to get your money out of you, thinking that you need to pay for, like, the entertainment visa in some way. Nope, it should be completely funded by the entertainment visa themselves, like that company. So it's just much better to be in Korea to try to figure all that out. I've been trying to build my YouTube channel as much as I can so that I would be able to, like, better present myself, I guess, to people here, companies, So we're trying really hard. So let's see. Raining at the moment. Yes, quarantine. Let's talk. We are going to get to the mental health of quarantine. That is, like, number 1 on my agenda. Let me just quickly read these comments. Hi, Megan. You gave me some advice for my trip. It's official now. I arrived December 12th. That's my birthday. December 12th is my birthday. You're coming into prison on my birthday. That's so cool. Is it true that, sorry, I got really excited. Is it true that quarantine is reduced to 10 days? Yes, it is. It's official. That's something else that I posted on my Instagram. On my Instagram, I have like they're called stories. I have a story and it talks about what's it called? What is it called? I think I called it tips, more tips, just a whole bunch of tips about South Korea or updated information. 10 days is official. Woo! That 4 days, y'all. That is like the 4 days really can be really difficult because I think the end of quarantine is a lot more difficult. I had a rare experience with getting sick, but I think the end of quarantine is a lot harder than the beginning of quarantine, usually for most people, because a lot of people are just like, I'm so excited to get to Korea. I can't wait to get to Korea. Yes, 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 yes. And then you realize where you are. Then you realize you're in South Korea and you're like, frick, I'm in South Korea. I don't know what I'm doing here. So I think that it getting reduced like by 4 days is amazing for you guys who haven't ever gone through like the experience of quarantine. I keep saying we're going to talk about quarantine, and then y'all have all these great comments, and then I get distracted. So I'm going to read all of these, and then we're going to talk about quarantine mental health. Okay. Jet lag is real. Yes. Videos were great. Thank you, Marlena. Love the love. You should do it again. Dingle actually reminds me of Fine Brothers channel that you have. Yeah, I really like it. Was super fun. Like, I'm a very expressive person, if you can't tell when I get excited. So I thought it was like super fun. But I think they also try to like meet as many foreigners as possible. So I don't know how much they would want crazy old me to come back, you know. Don't worry, we're 5 kids and I still can't interact with people. 5 kids. Are you saying that you have 5 brothers and sisters? Woo! Me, myself, and I playing my video games. Video games were like my best friend too, but 5, that's a lot of people. Actually born a month after you. So you're January 12th? My reaction. Gotta get excited over the little Reese-a-she! Hi, Reese-a-she! Hi, Reese. Even vaccinated person gets yes. So vaccinated, quarantine, great segment. Segue. Vaccinated people is complicated. If you are Korean, like passport says you are from Korea, or if you have family in Korea and it's like vertical family, so it can't be like distant, like I have like a third cousin. It's got to be like grandparents, family, like someone more close to you. And then y'all, I should make it like a document because it's so complicated. But the best way I can say it without saying anything kind of mean is like they want the vaccine to be from Korea. They don't like American flavored vaccines quite as much. But the reason why is because in Korea, they're very strict about the documentation of who is vaccinated. Whereas, like right now, I have this, like, my vaccination card for America. Technically, that could be forged. Like, it's not in the system per se. And I guess they're not like linking systems as of right now. So I think it's like they're just trying to be as safe as possible. They don't want anybody to like come in here pretending that they're vaccinated. So it sounds crazy when you first say it at first, like, oh, my American flavored vaccine is not good enough for you guys. They're just trying to be extra careful, which I respect. But then it gets kind of weird where like if you did get vaccinated in America, but you come to Korea and you're a Korean citizen or you have Korean family, they can now count that. But as a foreigner, it doesn't count yet. I don't know. It's a work in progress. I think a bunch of people just don't know what to do exactly with the whole vaccination thing. But as of right now, if you are on a tourist visa, which is a short-term visa, 90 days or less, you have to come and quarantine in government facility. If you come on a long-term visa, you can pick an Airbnb and you can quarantine outside of government facility. But quarantine is still a thing unless you have been vaccinated in Korea. So if you were vaccinated in Korea and you left and you came back, you can apply to be exempt from quarantine, which means you have to kind of like quarantine for one night. You come, you immediately go get tested. If the testing center is closed, you have to go immediately in the morning. And then when you wake up and you get your negative test results, you're allowed to leave. So it's very complicated. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on Instagram because that's like super detailed and crazy. Does the first day of quarantine start the day after you arrive or the day that you arrive? I arrive on the 26th and wondering if I'll get out on the 5th or the 6th. So before in my head, I was thinking 14 days. And so now 10 days, that's a bit harder. So if you arrived on the 1st, you will get out on the 10th. So don't ask me to do the math because I don't even know how many days are in November or October. You're probably talking about October. So just do the comparison. First, you will get out on the 10th in the morning. You could technically leave at midnight on the 10th day, but someone would have to pick you up, like a taxi would have to pick you up, and you would have to get a service that gives you the taxi number in advance. So you would have to like be able to submit the taxi information or submit your friend's driver's license, and then they can pick you up. But for me, I just took like the public transportation, and whatever quarantine facility you are at, they'll take a bus of all of like the foreigners around 7:30 in the morning, and they'll take you to the closest subway station, and they're like, bye. Like they don't help you. And thankfully I was on a bus with a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, and I was able to like help them get their subway card and like ride with them, and I dropped them off at the bus station because the bus can get like a little bit complicated. So 10th day, you will leave on the 10th day. Super stoked now. I need to subscribe to your Instagram, girl or guy, person, individual, DK, DA, kind. I love, that's fun. Yeah, you please. I'm on there way more than I'm on YouTube just to keep you guys updated with like fun daily tips. So, okay, last question. What did you like most about South Korea, and what do you miss most about America? Thank you, Matto. I will answer that right after I talk about quarantine because I promised that, and I know some people are kind of waiting on that. Basically, I feel like I need to take my jacket off for this, guys. Mental health. What really stinks is I made a whole video, recorded this, chef's kiss video. It was great. All about my quarantine mental health, like tips, I guess you could say. And I don't know what happened, but I went to edit it, and it was like the camera couldn't focus. I actually use my iPhone. The iPhone couldn't focus. Like the camera itself was like not sure what was white and what was my skin tone, and it kept like auto adjusting. It's never done this. Never once has this ever happened. So the entire video looks like a strobe light, but like a baby rave, not like a great rave, like a baby rave. And it's just like blue, white, blue, white, blue, blue, white. So that really stinks, but I wrote all of my tips down. And so we're just gonna talk about it face to face. But the best, like the number one tip that I can give you as far as just like general overall rule, how to survive quarantine, stay as busy as you can. And if you are not in quarantine yet, save things for your quarantine experience, whether that be like a TV show that you've been wanting to watch. Don't watch it till quarantine. A book that you've been wanting to read. I wanted to learn how to use Final Cut Pro so that I could kind of like up the quality of my videos. And so I literally said to myself, I'm going to wait to figure out how to use Final Cut Pro in quarantine. So I downloaded it before I came, sat down in quarantine, and I went, holy crap, Final Cut is hard. If you guys don't know what Final Cut is, it's like the upgrade of like iMovie, which is iMovie's included in a Mac. Final Cut is like the upgrade. So I was like, this is way more complicated than I ever realized, but it gave me something to do. I focused on it for like every day. I'm watching videos, how to figure out how to edit. I'm trying to practice it myself. If you like to paint or like color, get yourself a new coloring book and don't start it until quarantine. Save something for quarantine that's going to excite you, that will keep you busy. If you're currently in quarantine, think about things that you like, or maybe something that you wanted to like learn about. I know that sounds maybe not exciting. I don't know, but I'm not sponsored by Skillshare. I'm sure you guys have seen so many Skillshare videos. It's like one of the most popular like people to work with, like brands wise, for YouTubers. But like seriously, you can learn a new skill. You could watch some documentaries. Maybe you don't like documentaries. Give it a try, but just give yourself lists of things that you can do to keep yourself busy. Buy a new like game on your phone. I think the problem that I had with the first time that I was in quarantine is I was so focused on the fact that I was in quarantine that it just got harder because I kept thinking about it. And if you guys couldn't tell from my very like first day in this past quarantine, I'm a mess, claustrophobic. Like I was really struggling. And every time I started to think about the fact that I was in quarantine and I was stuck in a room, I literally was like, time to do something. And I started exercising, or I would start, watching some more Final Cut videos, learn how to use Final Cut, read my Bible. So it was like, I wouldn't let that thought like creep into my head. And then when I did have like really hard times, for me, I pray, and praying really helps me like calm down. And it makes me feel like less alone when I think about the fact that I'm like with God, even if I am alone in this room. So whatever that is for you, find something that's going to like center you, calm you down, and just don't try to spend too much time thinking about it. So as far as the claustrophobicness itself, by the way, if you do have claustrophobia, please reach out to me on Instagram and I can give you some more personalized tips. I don't want to like publicly display those tips because I don't want it to get abused by other people, but like genuinely, if you are claustrophobic, please message me on Instagram and I'll tell you some tips that I gave some of my other friends that have also told me they're coming and quarantining. But you are allowed, like once I called and talked to them, you are allowed to buy a fan and the fan can get delivered to like wherever you are if you want to get some like more air circulating in the room. For me, I couldn't I hate this about myself, but I hate bothering people. And so I couldn't figure out how to get this website to deliver to that specific hotel. And I just like, it's fine. I'm going to be fine. And I really just kept myself so busy. I always had the air conditioning on, and that was kind of like a fan itself. But there was so much dust in my room. I genuinely was like, I don't want to just like the dust into the air with this like powerful fan. So yeah, I just spent a lot of time just trying to pray and focus on like I will get out of here. The door isn't locked. Like I could walk out at any time. So yeah. Also, I think it's really important that you're honest about how you feel and you reach out to people. Like, don't do what I did, where I felt like a burden and I just didn't talk to people about it until I posted on my Instagram. And then people reached out to me on Instagram and said, "Oh my gosh, I felt the same way." Or, like, I'm praying for you. Like, because I posted something on Instagram, it made how I was feeling aware to other people and they were able to like love me well. And so please, like if you are not feeling well in quarantine, if you're feeling any negative emotions, don't feel like you have to experience that by yourself. Like please reach out to people. More than welcome to message me on Instagram if you would like. My Instagram is the same as my name, Megan Osten. It's important to not feel like you are alone. I do get a decent amount of questions on Instagram about PCR tests and traveling and all that stuff. So if I do not reply right away, I'm so sorry. I'll reply as soon as I can. But for real, just don't feel like you have to go through anything alone. And that goes for the entire, honestly, experience of traveling by yourself. It is difficult, especially in Korea, especially when my Korean is just like, it's, you know, hmm, we're working like I take I have tutoring every week. Like I'm trying really hard. It's difficult, and then you put a mask on. Like I already can't understand what you're saying. You already can't understand what I'm saying. Put a mask on it, and that's just it's going to help us so much. So living alone and living in a culture that's very couples culture, and I'm trying to like go out to eat by myself, and then I walk in and then they're speaking rapid, fluent Korean to me, making hand motions, and I just don't know what's going on, and I walk out and I leave. And there was one day where like I was already having a really bad day. I just wanted to eat some kimchi jjigae. I just wanted kimchi jjigae. That's all I wanted. I wanted a home cooked kimchi jjigae. I walk in, and it's one of the restaurants where you have to take your shoes off. And so I took my shoes off, and there's sandals. Usually, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm just crazy. Usually, you take like a pair of the slippers off and you put them on, and they just came up to me and hands when they picked the shoes up and they put it back in the shelf. And I was like, the sandals, they put them back in the shelf. And so I was just like, so that's a no to the kimchi jjigae. Like, and I mean, I say it now like funny, but I went back to my room and I cried because it's so hard to get yourself to go out there in the Korea world and do things by yourself when it's like some restaurants, they will make you pay for two people, even if you're by yourself, because it's just eating by yourself is it's not as common here. In America, I can go out to eat by myself maybe it's a little uncomfortable, but at the same, I'm not thinking to myself like, oh, it's so weird that I'm going to eat by myself. I should probably message a friend. It's like, no, whatever. It'll be weird for a second. I'll sit in the back corner booth by myself, face the wall, whatever. I don't care. Bring a book, live my best life, eat, some great meal. Here, there's this like whole, experience of emotions that you have to go through of like getting into the restaurant is like difficult now because I'm scared if you're just going to ask me how many people or if you're going to ask me a bunch of questions, and then sitting down and trying to order and making sure that you can, like, ego to seo, like this, please. You can always learn that. But sometimes the menu is up on the wall, so you have to pronounce it. And there's not going to be any English. So I hope that your Hangul is at least okay, but you can also use Papago and take a picture of it and translate it. But it's very intimidating to live by yourself in a foreign country, which is why I really recommend that you make friends. And I've talked about using Bumble BFF as a way to meet people. I met a lot of people at the church that I go to, and that's been like a really great way to make connections. But reach out to people on Instagram. I know Bumble BFF has worked for a lot of people, and it's weird to be swiping for friends, but it's better to swipe for friends and go to eat with friends than to feel like you're ever alone, not by choice. It's okay to be alone. It's okay to have your me time, but I don't want anybody to ever feel like they don't want to be alone and they don't have the option. All they have is the option to be alone. That's when it gets really sad. And that's when you need to be honest with people around you. Reach out, tell people how you're feeling, and be honest. And don't feel like a burden. You are not a burden. All right. You're wonderful. You're loved, and people want to love on you well. So reach out to them. So you can just develop those like strong friendships, right? Let's see. I missed some of these. You look lovely this afternoon. 감사합니다. 너무 예쁘시네요. 예쁘시네요. 감사합니다. Hi. Hang in there. Fighting. Fighting. Not being able to eat by yourself is definitely newer since the pandemic hurt restaurants badly. Not being able to eat by yourself is definitely newer since the pandemic. Yeah, I mean, the pandemic, what the heck? The pandemic. Make it stop. What's the return policy? Come on. We definitely are over the return policy. Way past the return policy. As far as quarantine goes, I still have some more tips on quarantine. So I'm going to say that for a second and answer Maddo's question that is good. What do you like most about South Korea, and what do you miss most about America? What do you like most about South Korea? Definitely the convenience is by far my favorite part of it. I can walk out my current living establishment apartment area. I can walk out, convenience store. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 4 within like 3-minute walk. So, and that has everything like food, obviously, and like drinks and stuff. But if I, needed some lady products, they got some there, cleaning products. Like, it's amazing how convenient it is and how clean, like public transportation is very convenient. There's buses everywhere, subways everywhere. I'm taking a train to the opposite side of the country. I mean, Korea is also very small, but I'm taking a train to the opposite side of the country. It'll cost me like $35 to take a train, like 4.5 hours. So it's amazing how convenient and relatively priced things are. What do I miss the most about America? Probably my family, and I think definitely just feeling like I'm able to go anywhere and do anything without thinking about it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm able to just go somewhere, walk into a restaurant, order, I can talk to some random person in a convenience store and have like a conversation. I can compliment someone well, and that's like not weird. Like here in Korea, you're not going to like compliment a stranger. You're not going to be like, "Hey, I like your dress." They're going to be like, what's wrong? Like, why are you talking to me? Like, you don't have that interaction. In America, if I walk down, Walmart and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love your shoes, people will be like, oh, thanks. And I love, I love that little interaction. So that's probably the thing I miss most, other than like being close to like, yeah, people that love me well, like my mom and my dad. I really, really, really miss like the little everyday interactions. So that's why I'm really thankful for the friends that I've made, and thankful for like, now I'm just complimenting awkwardly, I guess, my friends, like, oh, I love your jacket to my friend. And then I give them hugs that sometimes they don't want. But your girl is a physical touch love languager. So she just wants to hug everybody. um, Restaurants usually let you order for one. Yeah. Korea, you have to look for restaurants that have the black, like crock pot, baby crock pot bowls. And that's like a place that you can go eat by yourself, is when they got the little baby crock pot bowl. And uh, also, you can always do like the awkward, like peering in the restaurant and being like, is there anybody in here by themselves? Are we all couples? Don't go to any restaurants that have like the big black trays that they'll put down like on a fire. Usually those are like two people, or like barbecues, usually two people. Um, so yeah, it's kind of like, you be careful with, I mean, who cares? Walk in, you make a fool out of themselves. Sometimes they'll say, do you mind paying for two people? And if you don't mind, just pay for two people, eat a crap ton of food, sounds great. Leave with a food coma. um, You said, am I traveling in Korea? I am traveling in Korea. I'm currently in Korea for YouTube. Like, literally, y'all, I came here for YouTube. Like, I love love, 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 love YouTube. I love making videos. It's been really difficult the past few weeks because I'm trying to pack and move and figure out my future and my whole life situation. No pressure. But I literally came here for YouTube. So I was trying to stay in Seoul because that's where a lot of people like want to see in Korea. They want to see Seoul. I personally love the slowness of Busan, but now that I've made so many good friends and I found a church I really like, I don't really want to leave. So I'm actually really sad to be leaving. But hopefully I already plan to come back on weekends and maybe take like other trips, other places on weekends. I do want to see more of Korea, but I'm kind of saving the exploring other parts of Korea for when I can figure out my visa situation. Are you friends with Carrie Cakes? She's stunning. She's beautiful, isn't she? Her heart, her soul, love it. I'm not friends with her. I was so she's blah 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 blah. She saw English is hard, guys. English is hard for the native speakers too. She saw one of my videos, which was so sweet, and she saw that I have her necklace, and I was wearing her necklace in the video. So that was so sweet of her. But I don't know if you guys know someone named Adrienne Hill, but I met her and she said that I reminded her a lot of Carrie Cakes. And I was like, oh, she's like, you're very down to earth. I was like, oh, you're so sweet. How have you been to any of the traditional markets? I had to ask. Yes, Marlene, I had to ask. So there's actually like quite literally right next to my house, there is a long street with like, all the foods out, all like the little shops, very traditional. And it's so cool because it's literally right next to my house. So I just like walk by. But that's definitely one of my insecurities, is like attempting to speak Korean to the older generations. The older generations are the only time I've ever had like maybe negative experiences or felt kind of like unwanted, I guess you could say. Not unwanted, just like they're probably equally just as scared of me as I am scared of them to speak. And so I just get really intimidated, but I definitely plan to take one of my Korean friends to some of these traditional markets in the future. I think that would be a really good video to explore more. Yes, we can be friends on Instagram. Megan, she would love to be your friend on Instagram. I'm getting scared. I will be alone for 3 days, and what my roomie arrives so we can go to Yongsan. So you're probably scared of being like alone. At the end of the day, it is so safe here. Like Korea is so safe. Some of my friends do yell at me because I am very trusting of Korea and I will be outside at late hours. But genuinely, to like be out late at night and I'm living in a city, I would never do that in New York City. I would never do that in like some of like the big cities in America. In like the suburban areas of America, totally safe. Yeah. But when it comes to like I'm in a city, massive city, very safe. And so don't be too worried about like you don't have to be worried about the safety side of it. As far as being alone goes, just walking around Korea, there's so much to see. There's so many things to explore. Museums are free. I don't know if you know that, but like museums are free. So great way to not spend money and explore. So that's a lot like that's something easy to do by yourself. And I would also say cafes are a great place. Like cafe culture here, next level, next level. So you can always explore some good cafes. Like truly, there is so much to do for 3 days. If you want some recommendations, you can always message me as well on Instagram. But it it sounds intimidating, but for a few days, girl, guy, I forgot. I don't know where the question went, but you're gonna be just great and fine. It's a wonderful city to explore. There's literally it's like endless. So glad to see you live streaming. I love live streaming. I just was really worried that the connection wouldn't be good, so I kept postponing it. But now I'm mad because I'm like, I could have done this the whole time. Megan. Oh, 감사합니다. I know some Korean. My Korean is not very good. We're trying. We're trying. And hiking, outdoor activities. I I love being outside. I don't love being outside when it is cold. When it is cold, we like being outside so much less. So it's getting pretty cold, but I did go on a really beautiful hike. I posted it on Instagram. But hikes, here's the thing hikes in Korea are just stairs. It's like, here's a mountain within Seoul. Go on a hike and it's just like the whole time. It's like stairs, stairs. And the stairs are like stairs, steep stairs, very high stairs. And so they really, because like there's so, if you think of Korea as a whole, like there's so many people, you have to build up, right? So in order to build up to save space, it's like the same with mountains. It's like, let's just go straight up. Let's go straight up the sides of the mountain. And so you're taking these like astronomically big steps to get up the mountain. It's crazy, but beautiful views in the middle of a city. Like if you get onto Instagram, I think I also posted on YouTube like one of the reels that I made, which are like the short videos. Stunning. Korea. The aesthetics, mountains everywhere. Love it. More to explore. I can't wait to explore more. I love it here. My daughter is studying out there, who will finally return to the USA in December, but she is stressing the procedure and the lack of testing appointments in Incheon. We watch your video. Any updated tips? I personally don't think you need to go to Incheon. Incheon's actually way more expensive than a lot of the other like uh like hospitals or like clinics around here, and a lot of them speak English as well. They can get your results back to you extremely quickly as well. I posted a video about returning home a long time ago and a way to do it for free that still works for some people, especially because it sounds like she's a student. So there are free like COVID testings for people that have ARC cards. So if she wants to check, like there's like should be a local clinic near her, she can ask someone at her school. Usually there's a way that you can get a free test taken. If she doesn't want to do that, because it can be like a little, you have to get up super early, make sure you get in line at the right time. I don't know if the regulations have changed with that because I haven't had to get a test. But in that same video, in the description, I posted a link to a place that it's the cheapest place that I could find for testing. And you do have to pay a fee. It's not free, but it's I believe it's like a hospital or a clinic. Um, and the result time was very quickly. The price was really good. Someone else went to that clinic and told me everything went really smoothly, so I'd recommend that. And if I can try to, like, look up some more stuff if you wanna message me on Instagram or if you wanna email me. My email is also connected onto my YouTube, and I can try to send you directly the places that I'm talking about. Oh, I have Carrie's speaking pace. I don't know if that's a good thing, but she's great. So, um, I'm so glad I'm out of quarantine too. I'm definitely one of those people who likes being hugged. I think you already know. Yes, hugs. I just wish I could hug everybody. Still being careful in Korea. Yes, I'm always very careful. I promise. Has anybody mentioned your southern accent? I have one too, and just kind of one. So, so I was born in Connecticut. I lived there for 10 years. Moved to Ohio. I lived there from fifth grade and went to college there. So that's from like 2005 to 2016 is when I graduated. Moved to Pennsylvania for a year. And then after 2017, I slowly migrated south. And so it was Kentucky, then I lived in China, but all the people in China were from like deep south. So then I came back and then eventually I moved to Georgia because that's where my parents are at now. I wanted to be near my parents. So I sound like a mutt. I have like if I think about it, I won't speak like if someone says, "Oh, why do you have a country accent? I can't understand what you're saying." I'll just kind of like flip a switch on in my brain and try to like enunciate more. But when I get excited and I start talking more relaxed, it's like the southern accent slowly comes out and people are like, "Aren't you from Ohio? Like, aren't you from the Northeast?" So, people usually don't comment on it as much here because it's not as strong as I would say other Southern accents are. We more compare, like, I can also speak in a British accent if I wanted to because I did theater and I like to talk like this as well. That's very difficult. The British accent is very difficult for my friends to understand. So sometimes I will use my British accent to help people study listening. So we more talk about, I would say, the British versus American accent than the Southern. Because, yeah, my accent isn't as strong. Like, I don't have as strong as a draw, but yeah. Do you get hit on all the time? Uh, I think people in Korea are more scared to approach people. I've had a few brave souls, but the most uncomfortable was when I was on a run at a park and I mean, running in a mask, like, forget about it, you know? It's so difficult. So I took my mask down, but I had it, like, here for, like, I don't know, 20 steps just to, like, get some fresh air, and the inside of my mask's all sweaty, so took it down, but I kept running, and I had my headphones in, but they weren't on, like, noise canceling, and I kinda wish that they were because they were like, "Oh, hello, hello, hello," and they, like, came in front of me as I'm running, and I just was like, "Uh, 안녕하세요. Oh, are you American?" And I just kept running. It's just so, usually most of the time, nobody people might make an awkward, stare at you kind of thing, but overall, I would say people are more too scared to approach you than anything else, and if they do approach you, it's usually in a creepy way. So, yeah, just like, "I saw you from afar. Can I have your phone number?" And it's just like, that's not gonna work. Like, I hope that doesn't work on anybody. So, yeah. Hi, I watched your first Ask Me video in quarantine. Helped a lot. Thanks for tipping me on Naver Maps, HapaGo, Google Apps. Are Oh, yeah, Google Apps are useless in Korea. I'm so glad that you watched that one. I know it's a little bit long, but many good tips. I hope to share as many good tips as I can when I do these live streams, but I'm glad you saw it. I'm glad it was helpful. Google Apps, no. It works. It's just not going to be as effective as apps that are Korean, obviously, because it's going to be way more focused on Korean to English, rather than Google apps are like focused on like the whole world and all of the languages. So yeah, it's much better in Korea to focus on the Korean apps themselves. Have you ever dated a Korean man? You are so beautiful. 감사합니다. I have dated Koreans. I think there's a fantasy from K-dramas for a lot of people that uh, Koreans are like more, I don't know, like all they want to do is like kiss your forehead gracefully, peacefully, gently. And there's extreme differences in dating culture. And so I think it's very important to realize that if you are gonna date someone who is Korean, it's much better that they're Korean American or that they've traveled a lot, because they can just better understand, like, your culture, what you're used to, what's normal for you. Like, I'm not someone that wants to text 24/7 all the time, every 5 seconds. Um, if I have a busy day, like, I can't talk right now, and usually in, like, the Korean world, you're very much interacting, lots of communication all the time. Um There's way less, like, independence, I would say, like, in Korean dating. So and then there's a language barrier. So, like, if someone doesn't speak English fluently, you really struggle to, like, have, like, deep conversations and build, like, a really deep connection with someone. So I have dated, but usually, like, I'm only gonna date, like, Korean Americans, or, yeah, people that have traveled or are more fluent in English. Even though I want to learn Korean, I learned how important it is to have, like, good, deep conversation, or even though I'm learning Korean, I've learned how important it is to be able to express myself and have them, the other, guy, be able to express himself to me, and how, like, much that hurts someone when you can't have, like, those really good conversations. So I am getting sweaty, so I apologize for turning the AC on because I'm like glistening. Look at me. uh, it's really hot because the window. I didn't realize. Anyways, it's really hot. Okay. Thank you so much. You're the best. You're the best, Mary. Wait till I get there. The Southern drawl can be strong when I'm excited. Marlena, yes. Everyone's like, yes. Southern accents. Are the nightclubs open back up again? Yes, they are open. I think they're open till like later hours. Curfew has been extended, and some cafes like back open to 24 hours. Um, it all started on the first, and then it's kind of like slowly, like, even though the regulation was there, it's people were kind of like not doing it just yet, and then slowly more people decided like, okay, we can open up again. So Angel in Us is a coffee shop that's open. I found one yesterday that they're open till 4 a.m. Your girl was there till 2 a.m. It was great. So bars, I don't know what time it's allowed to. I don't exactly go out that often and do that kind of stuff, but they are open, and I know that they're open I know that they're open late. Like, I've seen some of my friends go out, or people that I know post on Instagram at like crazy hours. So, and also people just like will group up, like friends will just go back to like people's houses if they do close, and then they'll like go out again at 5 a.m. I'm too much of a grandma to do any of that, but uh, it's like a different culture, I guess. People will go out, and then the bars will close. They will go to they will rent like a room or something for like a few hours, and then they'll go back out at 5 a.m., which is just crazy. I had no idea you were born in Connecticut, Megan. I especially had no idea that you lived in China for a while either. Yes, I lived in China. I really, really missed it. I wish I could have kept living in China, but just didn't work out that way. What part of Seoul do you live in? I currently live kind of near Yeongdeungpo area on the southwest side of Seoul. I'm south of the river. I don't like living in touristy areas or places with like a bunch of foreigners usually, but it is not what I would recommend other people do if they have not lived in Korea. I think it's much easier to just go to like Hongdae if you're on like the younger side, like that's very much like a college age town, or Hapjeong, which is like one station down from Hongdae. I would say it's like a little bit older in the Hapjeong area. That's probably the area that I would move to, like look for an apartment in, is like the Hapjeong area. But it's near like some foreign restaurants. More people would be more like able to speak English if you are kind of like a little nervous, but it's still near the river, which is beautiful. I just have liked living near the Yeongdeungpo area. I don't know why I do. It's not exactly like anything special, but it's near like the KTX train station. And I think I just got comfortable. Like I found my favorite coffee shop is in Yeongdeungpo. It's called Alice Coffee. They give you like a free dessert with a coffee drink, but it's like 5 to 6,000 won. It's like a little bit more expensive, but to get a whole free dessert, your girl loves some sweets. So I've liked living on this like I like living in between Hongdae and Gangnam, kind of like being in the middle, and then it doesn't take me long to like go up towards like the center of Seoul either. So I've liked it. It's a little bit in the middle. Thank thank you. My mom gave me these blue eyes. I just decided to become a Korean American, but is the taste of American Starbucks different from Korea? So that's so funny. I would say coffee in general in Korea is like 90% milk. If you don't get like an Americano, like iced Americano, it is 90% milk with like a little, little of coffee. The ratio is so, in America, like I would say if you're going to get like a latte or something, I don't know if any American wants to tell me what your thoughts are. I would say it's like half and half, maybe like 40% coffee, 60% milk and sugary sweets and all that. So it's just crazy how I like want coffee, but I don't want an Americano, but I don't want a cup of milk. So at Starbucks, I would say it's a little bit better. I would say it's a little bit stronger. I'm not a huge Starbucks person. I kind of think that Starbucks coffee tastes burnt. But maybe that's just because I don't like coffee all that much. But I would say it does taste different. There's definitely different options. Like there's more teas at the Starbucks here in Korea. I actually plan to make a video kind of like comparing the different chains and stuff. A lot of chains that you would think are like American chains, the menu does not look like that in America at all. We would never have that. Like I went to Starbucks around Halloween and they had this like cute little like ghost foam with like a ghost topping. And like maybe America will have like a nice fancy cup, but like we would never put like a marshmallow like top thing, like a topping like that. Starbucks is more of like a get you your drink quickly. And like I feel like in Korea, they have these like creative, fancy colored drinks. And we will have that sometimes too, but they go like next level here in Korea with like the cups in the Starbucks. They'll have like Starbucks cups with like cats on them and like they're so cute. It's just crazy how Korea is very like cafe culture is so popular and everything is so artsy. They go even in the chains, they'll still be artsy. Like the insides of Starbucks are still more beautiful than in America. Like American Starbucks are kind of just like pretty, to me, just like plain Jane. Like I don't walk into a Starbucks and go, wow, this place is beautiful. But like here in Korea, I can walk into a Starbucks and be like, wow, this place is beautiful. So yeah, taste is different. Looks is different. Yeah. So I said China. I used to live in China. I loved living in China. I wanted to stay in China. I definitely think I prefer Korea now over China, but love them both. I know of the coffee shop, Alice Coffee in Yeongdeungpo. So good. Happy to answer any questions. No problemo. Sending good vibes from Ohio. I consider myself an Ohioan. So that means a lot to me. Thank you so much, Mark. I hope you have a wholesome and wonderful experience in Korea. Thank you so, so, so much. Where, if you're still on here, where in Ohio are you from? I am from like the northeastern part, so I'm just curious. Hi, Christian. How you doing, Christian? What is your favorite Korean food? Whoa, I love Korean food. I eat Korean. Ooh, I just love Korean food. I eat it all the time. And it's really cheap here in Korea, so that's wonderful. I would say, that's a hard question. I love kimchi jjigae, but I love a good soup, especially now that it's getting cold. So like yukgaejang, I also really, really like. Um, I like Korean barbecue, but I would say I lean more towards like the beef rather than the pork. And beef is really expensive here in Korea, so your girl does not. We don't do the beef here in Korea. We do that in America. We get the pork here, but probably like a dish that maybe some of you don't know about is takgalbi, which is like chicken. It's kind of like cut up chicken, veggies. You can get cheese. When you get the cheese takgalbi, woo, so good. But it's one of those places where you usually go to eat with somebody else. They put it down on these really big like metal circular. It's not exactly to fry, but like you cook it in front of you. And oh my gosh, mashisayo, so good. After you conquer Korea, where's your next destination? My first time to Korea, and that's where our Airbnb was back in 2014. Wow. That's so cool. 2014. Yeah. What was Korea like in 2014? I'm sure it is nothing like it is right now. They like evolve so quickly here in Korea. Where do I want to conquer next? I'm very focused on Korea right now just because my YouTube is very centered around Korea. I love living here in Korea. I feel kind of like called. I would say I definitely feel called to be in Korea. And so I would say for a long time uh I always had like, how would I describe it? I always had places I was thinking of, like I want to go here next. This is the next place I want to go. And Korea was like, yeah, the next, but I've really liked it. So now it's kind of like, oh, I want to come back. Like I want to stay. So I don't know. If I had to go somewhere else, I guess probably like the Netherlands or like Iceland or Ireland. Like probably go back to Europe for a while because I studied abroad in London. I went to Scotland, but I only was there for like a few days. I went to Italy and Paris. They're beautiful. I went to Austria, also beautiful. I feel like I would go back, yeah, to like the European area to like just switch it up again and have a little bit less of like the language barrier thing for a trip would be great. Um, but honestly, China, like if China was open and I could go there, I would go back and see my friends in a heartbeat. Starbucks coffee is burnt, LOL. Not good coffee unless you go to the reserve. That's funny. Yeah, you think it's burnt too. Can you explain the reserve versus the other Starbucks? Like, are they more bougie? Is that what the reserve? Because if you guys don't know, there's like these Starbucks with like a big R. So maybe Daniel, if you're still here, you can explain that. It does be tasting burnt though. I know, right? My English is not as good as yours. I need Dan Suffern, I think. Yes. Language barriers, man. Crazy. How do you know Adrienne Hill? How did you get to know Adrienne? She just wanted someone to help her film her surfing. And she's like, if you guys live near Incheon and you'd like to help, and I live on the south side of Seoul, so I just reached out to her and she said yes, met her. She was lovely. She was super sweet. Went to Ohio State and moved to Cleveland for work. So you're right all up in my area. That's so, so cool. I went to visit all my friends. Everybody went to Ohio State from my school, and I went to like a tiny little private college. I plan on drinking myself into a coffee stupor in Korea. Like awake at 4 a.m. drinking coffee for what the heck of it. It is so cool to be in like a cafe at a crazy hour. They're just open. Like I love it. We love it. It's amazing, and the cafe culture is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Girl, you're gonna be more in a milk coma than a coffee coma probably, unless you keep getting Americanos. But even Korean coffee is actually uh weaker. So like if I had a cup of coffee in Korea and I had a cup of coffee, like if I just had two Americanos, the American cup of coffee is so so much stronger than the Korean cup. I went back to America and I was like, I can get two cups of coffee like totally fine. And I was like, I'm I don't know what's going, like I can't hold my hand still. Like I was shaking. So it's way, 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 way stronger. Yeah, actually I've heard that everything like cigarettes and stuff in America, I don't know anything, but I was just told that like cigarettes in America even are stronger than cigarettes here in Korea, which is just crazy to me. By the way, you should go to cafe. Oh, okay, I'm writing that down. I don't know how to pronounce cafe AU, but I'm copying that and I'm pasting this in my browser because love a good cafe recommendation for sure. Takobi, Marlena knows the best. Have you ever had an embarrassing moment in Korea? Have I had an embarrassing moment in Korea? I'm just a walking embarrassment to myself. Um, I'm just like trying to think of like what's would be like a worse one. This is like a daily thing that you have to worry about, but like just to be in the subway at I guess any season, truly, you're gonna sweat because if it's cold outside, the inside of the subway is gonna be hot. If it's hot outside, the inside of the subway might be cool, but it's gonna get hot. So it's kind of like hilarious how you were sweating all the time. So it was like summer and I was sweating, of course, because yeah, I'm sweating and I'm a smelly foreigner because many Koreans don't smell when they sweat, by the way. Didn't know if you know that. Really jealous. Can you give me that gene, please? Thank you. But as a foreigner, we just, I guess, smell and whatever. So I'm sitting in the subway and I think I was on it for like 45 minutes to like an hour and I just didn't move. And when I stood up, like this is so weird, but like I knew I was sweaty and I like stood up and I just like saw my whole body. Like I just like saw so gross that I just saw my whole body. And like everyone in the subway is already looking at you. So when you stand up and you just leave like a sweaty residue, I was like, I'm never sitting down ever again. Just kidding. But like I if I'm really, really hot, I'm just like, I'll sit for a little and then I'll stand up because that was so everyone like looked at it and like looked at me because I stood up, like you can stand up early before like the doors open. And I just was like, do I sit back down and like scooch down to like rub it off? Like what do I do? Um, but I would say the most like embarrassing moments come down to like language, not understanding like uh language things or like me saying like the wrong thing. That always just leads to like awkward, embarrassing moments when I'm like with a Korean friend and they're like correcting me because I like tried to speak in Korean and then I said something wrong and they're like, don't say that word. And I'm like, oh, okay, yes. All right, never mind. I'll think about like what, because I know I have embarrassing moments, like way worse than that, but they're not coming to my mind right now. So I'll think about it. But yeah, I'm just like a walking embarrassment, that's for sure. The most embarrassing thing for me, honestly, is recording in public because it's still very uncomfortable for me to like vlog. But I have a lot of content filmed for you guys and breaking out of that comfort zone, vlogging in public. Hello, are you in Korea for a job, for travel, or for job? And did you find that there is a big language barrier in your daily life? I am hoping to find a job. I'm here to find some sort of visa that would allow me to have a job. I'm trying to not teach. We're really trying to not teach. There are other ways to be in Korea than teaching, but teaching is by far the easiest way to be in Korea. So we're working on it, but we shall see. Definitely the language barrier, definitely. I feel that every single day, but I think the more that you go out there and you put yourself out there and you don't take the negative experiences too much to heart, you just kind of take them as like a whatever. I messed up. They didn't understand what I was saying. We had to get Papa Go out. Like, you just take it and you kind of move on. So I would definitely say it's difficult, but I am studying Korean and I'm trying really hard. And like, if I know I'm going to go to a cafe, sometimes I'll like practice how to say other words. Like, can you put it in a mug rather than just saying like for here? So definitely see it in my daily life, but I'm really trying. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying really hard. I love Scotland. I studied abroad in, I don't know where that is, but I'm going to assume that Glasgow. Glasgow. Okay. Yes. That everywhere over there is beautiful. Everywhere. I forgot that I had coffee, so I'm going to take a sip of this. Adrian Hill is beautiful inside and out. Facts. Yes, they're more elegant and better. Oh, you're talking about Starbucks Reserves. They do drip coffee as well, which is actually good compared to their normal Americanos. Oh, okay. More elegant, more fun. They also look prettier, so that makes sense. Have you had any trouble getting into restaurants or cafes because of the vaccine COVID restrictions? So the video I'm currently working on, it's been rough, guys. Trying to get a hold of this company that I want you guys to buy from, and they are not getting back to me. So that's been really sad, and it's a really big company. So trying to talk to them about SIM cards. And so the next video is going to be on SIM cards and like the QR codes, getting into restaurants, stuff like that. It's been a really hard video to film though, because there's so many components to it and there's so many details to cover. The QR codes are, I'm trying to think of like how to word it correctly. If you're coming on a long-term visa, you will be able to get a QR code. If you are not coming on a long-term visa, you cannot get a QR code. The only way you can get QR codes as of now are with an ARC card. And the reason why is because when you get your ARC card, they'll attach it to a phone number, and then your phone number can be verified. So they are not allowing anybody to have QR codes otherwise. For some reason, and this is all in the video, for some reason, y'all are getting a sneak peek. 38 people, you guys are getting the sneak peeks. So when I came here in March, for some reason, I was able to get a QR code for my phone from a Korean company. And it allowed me I got a SIM card from a Korean company, tried to do the whole like login thing. It worked. When I came back to Korea for you guys, I literally said, I will buy my SIM card here again, try to do that exact same thing and see if that works. Because if it does work, I will pass the information on to you so you can do it too. And it doesn't work. They suspended that way of it, but I've not had any difficulty other than one occasion. I've not had any difficulty with the like being vaccinated side of it. I am vaccinated and I have like my card, so I can show my card or show like a picture of my vaccinated card. That was the one time I got into some issues, is like it wasn't a verified Korean vaccine, but I showed them that I was vaccinated, and it was at a noraebang. So I don't know why noraebangs were being so cutthroat, but at the end of the day, the vaccinated thing was more, there's like new phases that Korea has been going through of like living with COVID. And so before, it used to be like you could eat and go out to eat if like 2 people were vaccinated, then you could be with 4 people. If there's no vaccinated people, you could only be with 2 people. And that all is now like they're transitioning into new, like it can be 10 people now. And the vaccinated side of thing, like the vaccine isn't looked for as much. So I haven't had the difficulty per se as I was before when they were checking to see like, are you vaccinated? After 6 p.m., you couldn't be with more than like blah, blah, blah number of people. And they would ask to see if your like QR codes were verified. So I just so happened to get lucky and have a QR code from last time. But overall, I wouldn't say you're going to have a problem either way. You don't really need a QR code. There is the occasion that people only let you in with a QR code, but what they're kind of leaning towards now is most, if not all, restaurants will have a piece of paper, and you just have to write your information down. So you have to write your name, you have to write, or I don't think you write your name. I think you write like just your phone number, where you live, like what area you live, and like if it's okay to contact you, if they like find like there's a COVID case that came to that cafe. So you just have to write down your information. Some people actually prefer to write down their information than scanning the QR code. So they like it's less like your location is always being like tracked, I guess. But so I haven't had any difficulties other than that one noraebang, but you're just gonna have to like write down stuff. And I would say like kind of hole in the wall restaurants probably aren't gonna have that writing capability as often, but you'll make it work. Maybe you can't get into like the occasional restaurant and then you can just go somewhere else. But overall, I haven't had any difficulties. I always thought the subway was nice and cold. The KTX, though, I almost had a breakdown. It was so hot. So I guess it just depends on what year. What year? In 2019, they decided to make it cold. And in 2020, they didn't turn the AC on. What season? It'll go through seasons. So like in the summer, if there's not a lot of people, it's nice. It's like, oh, cool. And then you can kind of get like, you can take, eventually you feel like, oh, I'm getting a little chilly because I've been on this for so long and it's so hot outside. So they're trying to cool it down. For me, I have an issue where I power walk, I guess, as like regular walking. So I'm just always walking really fast. So I'm usually kind of like hot. And so especially in the winter, it's like freezing, right? So now I'm cold, so I'm walking faster because I don't like being cold. And then I have this big jacket on and I'm cold. And then I get in the subway and it is like boiling lava hot because there's so many people. And in the summer, I felt like, again, I walk fast, so I'm getting kind of hot. It's hot outside. Then I get in the subway and I'm just around a bunch of people. So I just feel like it's usually hot, but maybe that's because, I have my issue where I can't walk slow. But it just feels like stuffy now. And it's just weird to like have to take off your whole winter jacket to like just put it back on to bear the cold in like 15 minutes. So I'm just sweating. I'm constantly sweating. No matter what season it is, I'm sweating. Do you see a lot of American military I would say a lot of the American military peoples go to Itaewon, and I don't like Itaewon. I don't like Itaewon. Not really my crowd per se. Like if I want to get like an occasional fun Western meal, I guess I'll go to Itaewon, but that's the only time I've seen American military people was in Itaewon, and they were at a bar. They were all at bars screaming really loudly. So that's the only time I've ever seen them. But that's not what all of it, like there are like I've met wonderful people as well, who are also American military people, not drunk at bars. But I was there for 4 months and I didn't see one. You're gonna have to remind me what I was talking about. LOL, funny story on the subway. Yeah, us foreigners are often walking embarrassed. Yeah, here, but that's part of the fun of yeah, it's all part of like living abroad, crazy, weird stories of like, yeah, you look like you have something on your face at all times. And I guess what I have on my face it's the fact that it's American, but people are just always staring at you like, and you're like, what is wrong? But it's just, it's when everybody here for so many years looked more similar, like they wouldn't have blue eyes, they wouldn't have blonde hair as often. Or I guess, the American facial structure. It's so crazy how often people just are like fascinated, especially the ajishis, hajimas, which are like the older folks here in Korea. They really give you a good stare. So that's when you stare back, guys. Just stare back at them. And then see who wins the staring contest. Really, Koreans don't. So not all Koreans, but most Koreans, it's like they don't have the gene or something in their DNA, or if someone wants to give me like the scientific terms of this, but they don't have like their sweat doesn't smell. They can sweat, but they don't smell as bad. But sometimes they do smell like what they eat, but like it's not like a BO smell. It's like a kimchi smell, which is just not fair. That's why that's why you can't find a lot of deodorant here in Korea, is because like they don't need to use deodorant for the pits because it doesn't smell, which is not fair. Yeah, they also have dry earwax. I don't even know what that means, dry earwax. Now I'm very intrigued. Dry earwax. They have the smallest amounts of, oh, they have the smallest. Sorry, guys, I'm like way back up here. I'm just trying to skip and read through some stuff really fast. Once you start overcoming that language barrier, you start realizing that you're forgetting English. Yes. Do I cook? Yes, I try to cook. I try to cook a lot actually for the sake of like I just buy a bunch of eggs and kimchi and try to eat like in the morning. I just eat like the same thing every day. So I wouldn't say I cook like I'm not a chef, but I cook to survive, to eat. Hi. Hi, Camille. I miss barbecue chicken. Oh, barbecue chicken is so good. Um, what was your major in college? I double majored in, I'm trying to get through some of these questions because I feel so bad that they stacked up, guys. Double majored in math science, middle childhood education. I'm one of those people that likes middle schoolers. That says anything about my crazy personality, and theater. I wanted to be like a theater teacher, but also teach, like I wanted to teach math, but do like the theater program after school. And then my whole life changed. And now we're in Korea, live streaming. Until now, I had no problem without the QR code. Oh, yeah. So it's some places it gets rough, some places it's fine. It's so like restaurant by restaurant, but I guess some people are getting like cracking down because of like the vaccines and stuff like that. But yeah, honestly, just there's so many places in Korea. It's like if a restaurant can't take me, move on to the next. Do apps like Naver take foreign numbers, or did they only take Korean numbers? My US phone plan should work overseas, but if the apps I need don't take this, I should think about getting a SIM card. So again, the Naver thing only is going to be Korean phone numbers that are registered to your like Korean account. So you would need to be coming here on a long-term visa and you would need to be registering that phone number. But if you're going to come here on a long-term visa, 100% get a Korean phone number. It's just going to be a lot cheaper. If you're coming and then you're able to, it's just going to be a lot less of like a hassle if you're staying here long-term, or long-term as in like a long-term visa. If you're coming for like 3 months or less, I would say that you would be fine. Like I know someone else that used like a US phone plan while they're here because you're not going to be able to register your Korean SIM card if you're coming on a short-term visa. So it's like it doesn't really matter what phone number it is. It's just good that you have a phone number. So if it's short-term, you don't really have to worry about, I guess, getting the SIM card if your plan itself is allowing you to do overseas. It's like I'm trying to think. You're gonna have to make, as long as you're allowed to make calls, you're gonna have to make calls while you're in Korea to like check in at some restaurants. They'll have you call a phone number as in like the QR code. It's like their QR code is like the calling. So if you're able to make calls to Korean phone numbers, you should be fine. Sogang, I've actually wanted to go there. Do the European bully you? Don't let them stand on your tippy toes and they'll go away. Thankfully, no bullying. No bullying by any Europeans. Do you experience problems with mosquitoes? Oh my gosh, I could rant about mosquitoes for a long time. I was just about to say my mosquito repellent is literally right behind the computer. This is me basically at nighttime. I just cuddle this to sleep. If my room wasn't such a mess because I'm trying to pack to leave, I guess I can turn you a little bit to show you what my window has looked like for the past. Look at how scary. That looks terrifying, doesn't it? I taped up the window frame because the air conditioner. Okay, here we go. Coming back. The air conditioner. This is a tube that goes outside. There's like a 2-inch crack right here, and there's no screen. There's no screen. And so The first day I was here, I was like, how are so many mosquitoes getting in my room right now? And it was like, kill one, look over, there's another, kill it. I'm like, window has to be open. Like after you kill 4, you realize there's probably a crack in your window. There's probably something going on. And they even though I tape my window up, they come in through the front door. I'm pretty sure they come through my air conditioning unit itself because this is like a tube. I know that sounds crazy, but they're still getting in here unless there's like there's probably holes in the wall or something that I haven't found. But they are like in America, mosquitoes are annoying, but they're not like mischievous. In Korea, they like sneakily sneak through windows. They bite your ankles like crazy. They like go to places that you don't feel. Yeah, your ankles. They come out at night and they'll hide during the vampires. They hide when the sun's out, and then when you turn all the lights off, they come like, "Meep," and then oh, I hate mosquitoes. Korean mosquitoes are next level horrible. And they're so small. And it's like with a mosquito in America, I feel like I go like this and it'll kind of like go away for a second. That punk will just like right in my face. And I go like this and it's just like, ha ha, you miss. And they're fast. It still flies away. If you can't tell, it's a touchy topic. I thankfully think my bug, I always try to say blood type and I always say bug type. My blood type in Korea is not the type that the bugs like because I don't have as many bugs as I thought that I would have, but I still get them. But my friends are definitely suffering more than I am. Got to learn how to take slow walks. Yes, I do. I need to learn how to walk slower. Anxiety does not allow slow walks, let me tell you. My dad's 6'5". He's probably shrunk down to 6'4" actually, but I really just my whole life growing up was like running after my dad to keep up with him. So it just taught me how to walk really fast. And now walking slow is like equivalent to nails on a chalkboard to me. Like if we're gonna walk slow, it like rips it feels like my heart is just like getting ripped in half because it's like, oh my gosh, this is painful. I feel like I'm dying. Megan Soul has an improv theater filled with Americans. Ooh, they do. I love improv. I used to be the leader of the improv at my school. Is it too expensive in Itaewon? I think Itaewon is very pricey for I mean, the food is food that I want sometimes. Like I am craving craving like American breakfast. I am craving, like a Mexican taco burrito, and the price is, never thought I would pay like $20. I paid $20 once for like a burrito. Like it was just, yeah, it hurts my soul. So I try to stick to Korean cuisine. Do you prefer any other kind of outfit styles? My favorite style, I wish I could pull it. I probably do pull it off and I'm just in my head, thinking I love streetwear. Like I really love streetwear. But I think because I'm like a teacher and just because I always try to like just dress well and dress like nice, it leads me to like lead to more like dresses and skirts, but I very much prefer good fashionable streetwear. I love good anyways, I've said it like 5 times. They have prepaid SIM cards that aren't just Wi-Fi. They issue actual Korean phone numbers without you having to register on a phone number. You can get the prepaid order online. So yes, this is what I have. I have the prepaid SIM cards. It's just that it gives me a Korean phone number, but you cannot register them. Like I tried registering mine, but yeah, there's some options for picking them up at the Incheon airport. Again, the video that I'm going to come out with next will talk about the cheapest and best ways. I found a SIM card. My friend Pirate Dan, I don't know if anybody's seen his videos, but I found he helped me find a way that you can spend $10,000 a month for a SIM card. So I'll talk about the cheapest SIM. Then the $10,000 a month is for people with the ARC, and then people who are coming on 3 months or less. telling you what is your best option as well. But it's also the prepaid SIM cards as well. Korean mosquitoes are no joke. Amen. I had to hide under my covers. They ate my face around my eye mask at night. No, they didn't. Oh my gosh. You got to get like a, I guess like a, well, here's the thing. I'm like, get a mosquito net, but like those mosquitoes can crawl through anything. So it just feels like it doesn't do anything. They crawl through all of the screens. They literally are ninja. They're little baby ninjas in the worst possible way. But yeah, I always, whenever I sleep, I have like my blanket like completely up to my neck, completely wrapped around me. But I like want to put something over my face, but I'm like claustrophobic, so it feels like I can't breathe. So it's woof. Mosquitoes. The bites are way worse than New Zealand ones too. Oh, yeah. I feel like the bites here like they have like acid or something in them because they just get so itchy, so huge. Anyways, if your blood type is O, you have a 99% chance of getting bit. Oh, great chances, great odds. I'm not O, I don't think. I don't think I'm O. Thank you, Megan. Your videos are mentally preparing for my Seoul trip so much more sane. Knowing what to expect makes a world of difference. I'm so glad. Like I genuinely love more than anything being able to help you guys out. And when I came here with so much anxiety and so many questions, and I get off my quarantine bus and I like literally just look around and I'm like, I know there's a subway, but I don't know where it is and I don't know how to take it. So I tried to just make videos that I wish I had before coming here. And so I'm really glad that they're helpful. Can't wait for upcoming videos. Yes, in Busan, I'll have a lot more time to edit, which is going to be nice. I kind of outdid myself. I did not plan my time well. Just kind of said yes to a lot of things and didn't schedule like time for editing as well. And then I kind of like burnt myself out because I'm very much introverted and extroverted. Like I'm really need my alone time, and I haven't been getting a lot of alone time lately. So I'm excited to go to Busan and kind of spend some time to like recharge. And yeah, so I'll definitely edit a lot more when I am down there, which I'm excited because I want to get more videos out as soon as possible. It was a 17. Oh, I don't know what 17 NZD is, but holes in the screen sounds like it's a no bueno. Sounds not good. Sounds bad. According to social media, a lot of European models live in South Korea. Is it true? It's no fair. I do think there are like if you're going to see a foreigner here, and they're tall, there's like a high probability that they're a model. But I wouldn't say there's like an overwhelming amount. There's probably enough, like a decent amount, but I wouldn't say it's like probably not overwhelming. But I also live in like the boondocks, like the outskirts of Korea. So I'm not in like Gangnam, which is where like a lot of like those people kind of live. So I'm not totally sure. How much is apartment rent? I should make a video on Airbnbs because it's really sad. So I've been using Airbnbs for most of my time when I travel anywhere. I just use Airbnbs because it's easy. You can book it in advance. Reviews are usually trustworthy. Let's talk about the prices. I know for a fact that I am paying so much more than what the owner is paying. And I know you're supposed to make a profit. Like, I know you're supposed to make a profit, but when your rent is $400 a month and you are charging me like $900 to $1,000 a month, I get that stuff is included, but like, it's kind of insane how much they can get away with it because they know we're foreigners and they know that where we're coming from, we're used to paying X amount for like a apartment for like a month. So it's just really sad that, yeah, I don't want to say that everybody's like getting like taking advantage of other people. I want to say it's just like it's just what everybody does, but it really sucks a lot. So rent for someone that's gonna live here and be like a student or like come on a long-term visa, and you can find a way to like actually rent an apartment for, month after month after month. It's so dependent on where you're living and like what section that you're living in, but just coming from like one of my friends' experiences, it was in Busan, but their apartment is on the beach in Busan, and they're paying like $500 a month, which if you go on an Airbnb in that same hotel or same like apartment complex and you were to rent from there, it's like 900 to $1,000 a month. So it's kind of like, where do you want to live? How much are you willing to spend? Are you wanting to like do a studio? Are you wanting to have more space to yourself? Do you want to share with someone? But you can find some pretty dang good deals. It's the issue with rent is that you have to put a deposit down. And so, like in America, deposit might be like 1 month's rent or like half a month of rent. In Korea, it is like I went to my friend's apartment in like not the best area, and this was very, very expensive, mind you, but it was, I think, 20, is it 20 million won? I guess so. It can be like 5 million won. It can be like 5,000 USD. Like it just an extreme, like 10,000 USD. Like it can be a lot depending on where you live, depending on like how nice or how new the building is. So it's kind of like you have to have all this money up front in order to find like a place that's like worth staying. And so that's something that's really hard is you will get the money back. It is a deposit, but to have that up front is really hard. So that's something that blows my mind about Korea is how much you have to pay at the beginning. But it's kind of like the more you pay on your deposit, the cheaper that your monthly rent can end up being. So you end up paying less if you can put more down at the beginning. Not always. So sometimes you can figure out some like deals with people. Mosquito repelling coins are the only tried and true repellents. So I just, a lot of these things, like I don't like the idea of, the Airbnb owner gave me some of those coins. It's just hard because I don't like this idea of like inhaling all these chemicals all the time. So maybe it does, but I just don't want to be like breathing in all these chemicals. So I try to do it like the more natural way. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes I'm not as fast. And they are little baby ninjas. So they just. Subways are pretty confusing. Is it true? I don't think. I think the subways are pretty easy. Actually, everything is so well labeled. Maybe you walk down and you go on the wrong side, but like I think it's what's more confusing is okay, I'm very good at directions. I've never been someone that struggles with directions, so I don't know if I'm the best person to say like is it confusing or not because I know people can get pretty lost um pretty easily. So I don't want you to come here with this like false sense of confidence when it's just because I'm good at directions. But I have a whole series on my channel of like travel help with subways, buses, taxis, how to get your T-Money card, and eventually I'll do one on trains. I just hate the trains, so it's been taking me a while to do that one because I hate the train. So I think those videos would do that would be really beneficial for you guys to watch the transportation series. If you have any questions on it, I just don't think it's all that bad if I'm being I just think it's labeled well. And when if you use Naver maps, it's literally giving you like the exit to walk out of. It tells you which car number is going to be fastest for an arrival. Like it's so detailed on the app that I just don't think it's all that bad. Oh, the plugin thing for the mosquitoes as well. Yeah, I can't do all of the chemicals. Oh, so your rent was like, or that was like a hotel for $17. Yeah, that's gonna have holes in the screens. But Rent in New Zealand is like 5 to 7. Oh, woo! Rent is cheaper more in the countryside than in the city side. Correct. Yes, rent is gonna be way cheaper, not in the city areas for sure. South Korea 2021 real estate hell, especially for Koreans. It's been real estate hell for the world. Key deposits are insane. Yeah, those deposits you have to put down, I don't even understand. It's insane. Subway in Korea is way easier than Japan. Japanese subways are local and so overpriced. So I've never been to Japan. I don't have like I'm not against going to Japan. I just don't have much of a desire myself to go to Japan, but I have heard that they're crazy. So for someone that's not good at directions, I think subways can be intimidating, but I would just give it a try because I think it's a lot easier than you would think. Yes, but choosing the best exit is a bit confusing. You got to use Naver Maps. It'll tell you. It'll literally say which exit is the best for you, which is so nice. But sometimes it's not. To me, it doesn't seem like the best, but like they kind of take you like a farther roundabout way sometimes. But what mapping system doesn't do that sometimes? Do you see a lot of? I don't know what Hapa children in Korea is. I heard these population centers. I don't know what that is actually. I miss Korea. Did you come to Korea, David? When did you come to Korea? And I'm gonna have to go kind of soon. I can't believe it's already been an hour and a half. But I do need to finish packing so I can go to Busan later today. I really like Korea is so I don't know, it's just it has such a special place in my heart. I really don't want to leave. I want to be able to stay. It's just a matter of visas here are so difficult and so confusing and so hard. Can you do a Namsan Tower vlog? So I actually have footage from the first time that I went to Namsan Tower, and I I want to edit it. I think I kind of just got like in the zone with trying to get some like more helpful videos out and the quarantine videos out because I was in quarantine and I thought that those were like really pressing topics. But I did like a Lotte World vlog and I try to like add tips as I like go. And algorithm wise, it just didn't do really well. And it took me so long to edit. So I think I also postponed like the fun place vlogs because it just didn't feel like people wanted to watch that. My channel was more like how to help people. But I think my channel's grown. I think my channel's quadrupled since that video went up, so maybe it would be more well received now. Mixed cultured. So I'm assuming like mixed, like Korean American, that kind of thing. I would say in Korea, I don't know. I feel like I just see mostly Koreans. Sometimes, like, I mean, when I go to like I go to an English speaking church, and I feel like that's like where I get the most mix of everything, just like where people are from. But overall, I would say I just see a lot of Koreans, but I don't know. Maybe I'm missing them. Maybe I don't know. It's also hard to tell when this is all the amount of the face that I see. Kind of hard to tell what someone looks like. Um, I look like Jodie Foster. Hold on, I know the name Jodie Foster, but I don't know. Jodie Foster, I have not gotten that, but I don't know. Why do I know who she is? Sure. Wait, when she was younger, I think someone told me. Yes, I was looking at like older pictures of Jodie Foster, and I was like, do I have that many wrinkles? I think when she was younger, I might have heard that. Actually, the person that I get told that I look like, can I figure out? I don't know a lot about Harry Potter, but there's a girl with like a blue hat that's like this. I wish I could like share a picture, but I don't know what her name is. Gosh. Oh, I think this is her name, but I don't know how to say it. Mm. All right. Is this? I think this is her name. I'm gonna post it in the chat. This is what people tell. Yes, people are helping this person. This is what they say that I look like. That's like the most common one that I buy. Oh, you're living in North America. Do you like America? What do you think, David? Do you like America? Mukbang, something in the works. I guess I could. That's pretty popular here. I guess I could do like I'm not a huge mukbang. I don't like watching them, but they are popular in Korea. So maybe like a fun like delivery food or convenience store mukbang or something would be fun. Go pack. Excited for your Busan trip. Thank you. I will pack soon. I just love live streaming. This is so much fun. Hope you get the entertainment visa and everything works out. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. Are you a K-drama person? I like them. I don't really watch TV. Is that crazy? I think I'm crazy sometimes because I feel like I'm the only person that doesn't watch TV. Yeah, I don't watch TV all that often because I just feel like I could spend my time, I don't know, differently. Like it's really good to practice your language, to like study Korean by watching K-dramas. That's like an amazing, yeah, like, amazing thing to do. I just don't have like a lot of time. I just don't have a lot of time. Like if I have downtime, I'm usually editing or I'm reading. So I do like dramas. My favorite drama is I Am Not a Robot, which usually people don't know. Hi, we stick together. Hello. Usually people don't know the drama I Am Not a Robot. So I'm like, oh, never mind. That's my favorite. There's an actor in it called Yu Sung Ho, and I think he's so incredibly talented, so freaking talented. So I watch all of his dramas, but he's in I'm Not a Robot, so I really, really like that one. And that's the one where like the girl pretends to be a robot, and of course they fall in love. Okay, I'm glad people know I am not a robot because I think it's such a good drama. And the first time I told someone that was my favorite drama, they were like, "That's horrible." I was like, "But I love it." So I'm glad you guys like it too. That makes me feel better. I said it in like a dingle, like the show that I like appeared on here in Korea or the YouTube channel. I said that was my favorite drama, and I was like, I'm gonna get crap for it. People are gonna be like, "That's your favorite drama," but it was the first drama I ever watched. So obviously, it's gonna have a special place in my heart. There's a good restaurant in Busan that serves American food, like the ones you're craving. It's called Mom and Pop Bodega. Let's see. Adding that to my tabs. Huh. I'll have to check it out. Mom and Pop. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Thank you for the recommendation. I love recommendations. I'm watching The King's Affection. First 2 episodes, just waterfall tears. See, that's another thing. I'm an emotional person. So when I watch dramas, your girl is crying over everything. I'm crying over the happy. I'm crying over the sad. I cry over everything. I've been trying to say, wait, I'm really struggling to read these comments. I'm so sorry. I've been trying to say that you look like South Indian actress. You know, we can't pronounce anything. I can't pronounce English. I can't pronounce Korean. I don't know who she is. She's beautiful, so thank you. She's stunning. Did you find Korean culture or did Korean culture find you? Oh, that is such a sweet question. I love the way that's worded. I actually, when I lived in China, there was a missionary couple, a Christian missionary couple that opened up a cafe right near my house in China. And they brought their Korean cafe culture with them, which was, it was beautiful. It's one of my favorite cafes I've ever been to because they had all this like knitting and crochet everywhere. And that was the first time I had ever met someone like Korean, like even like knew, like they were like, oh yeah, like this is like a Korean missionary couple. I was like, Korea, South Korea. Where is South Korea? Like I knew nothing, didn't know where it was on the map. And then I wanted to be respectful and I wanted to like learn how to say hello in Korean just to like I don't know, just to like be like love on this family that, moved their whole life over to China. And so tried to, go in and "안녕하세요." And they were like, "Oh," like they were so happy. But then another question down here, do you like K-pop? I don't have anything against K-pop, like people who like it, y'all go for it. I don't know much about it. I only ever knew, I mean, obviously my roommate in China knew BTS. And so now the whole world, I think, knows BTS. But that was kind of like all at once, like this Korean couple that opened this cafe. My friend knows BTS. That kind of just started my awareness of Korea. But I would really say that Korea found me because I felt like God just wanted me to like know about Korea to send me to Korea. Like I really felt like he wanted me to come here. And when I moved back to America and I lived with my parents for a short season, I wanted to find an apartment near them so I could live near them. So I randomly just moved like an hour away and I just type in like jobs near me. And the closest best paying job was a Korean barbecue for like a short job that would just be like some quick money. And I was like, Korean barbecue, here's that Korea again. But then I was like, I don't even know what Korean barbecue is. Like, I just knew that Koreans liked meat, but I didn't know what Korean barbecue was. But I applied, and then I was like, I should probably like I had my interview. I was like, I should go see what this restaurant's all about. And I got hired, and then I was like, oh, I cook. So like in America, Korean barbecues, we cook for everybody. In Korea, you usually cook for yourself. So it was like, I'm good. I'm the chef. So again, I didn't pick that job. That job was just the closest one to me. I randomly got assigned like uh, a acting partner in one of my acting classes, and it was like a exercise where you get to know your acting partner. My acting partner was Korean. I was like, "Hey, I kinda have, like, a interest in Korea. Do you know of anyone that teaches Korean language classes?" He's like, "My sister does." So I started taking a language class. That's how I met all of my, like, friends that love Korea stuff too. Um, like, there's, like, a Koreatown near my house where they speak fluent Korean. Most people only speak Korean. The stores are Korean, the cafes are Korean. So it's like, I just found it as I went, but I wasn't searching for it. And I had studied Asian culture in college because I actually went back and, like, I know sign language, and deaf culture is similar to Korean or Asian culture. So I felt like I had kind of learned a little bit about it, but not, like, intentionally. It just kind of appeared in my life. I love Canada. One of my coworkers is thinking about going to Korea and teaching English. Do you think that's a good idea? I think you should come to Korea for sure. I think you should travel. I think it expands your brain, your life perspective, your view on everything. Like, I truly love Korea, and I think more people should come here. Teaching English is a great way to do it. You're going to get a visa and you're going to get it fast. The problem is there's a lot of horror like stories, and it really sucks that people want to come here. They get so excited to come here and then they have a horrible teaching experience. So it's just hard for me to say like, yes, that's what you should do. Because especially I just have a few close friends that tell me kind of like some bad experiences. But if you can figure out a way to like make a friend and go to a school that they go to that they know is good, or I think I've heard like joining some of those programs where they place you in public schools. Sometimes that's a little bit more positive than you finding like your own private institute, like a Hagwon. But again, I think you should come to Korea. I know so many people that love teaching here and have been teaching here for years, but don't expect that the first school that you're going to teach at is a great one. Like it can be, yeah, there can be good experiences and there can be hard experiences. So it's just go in with the expectation that this might not be amazing. Too many people come here and think it's going to be amazing. It's going to be this a great experience. I'm going to love teaching, and it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes the first teaching job that people get, they stick with it, they love it. Sometimes they have some really bad stories. So just be careful. Uh, Which is your favorite book? I don't know if I mentioned books. I don't know if you're talking about the Bible. I love the Bible. I love to read Psalms because I feel like very connected to like the pain. I've gone through like a lot in my life and I really love to read like the honest Psalms and pray out the Psalms. Um, but I would also say Proverbs is one of my favorite books that I've read, and probably Mark. I like the way that he tells the uh, personal perspective of Jesus in person. But if you're talking about like favorite book in general, I used to read a lot of like the guy that wrote The Fault in Our Stars. I think his name's John Green. I used to read a lot of his books and I loved his books. Wow, I cried a lot reading his books. um if you can open a business in Korea, what would you open? I'm not going to open a business in Korea because I don't have enough language skills to do that. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. Really good verse. Um, Shout out from Virginia. I love that verse. I think of that verse all the time, actually. What are you thinking differences between China and South Korea? Cleanliness, split pants in China. Really, I just to this day I can't. I can't. I don't know if you guys know what split pants are, but little children, they don't wear diapers in China. They just have pants that are permanently split open. And I mean exactly what I'm saying. I'm going to pull up a picture. Split pants children in China. Let's see. Split pants. And it's like they will just, I don't know if you can see, I hope you can see this. They will just go to the bathroom. Like these are little kids. Sometimes they have a diaper, but most of the time, yeah, like he just going to the bathroom in the middle of the street. Um, this was very common. You're just just in the street. And this child is peeing in this picture. I don't know if you can see that. So I think that was what was really hard to get used to in China. Didn't love that, the cleanliness. Mm-mm. But in South Korea, haven't I don't if anyone is Korean and wants to tell me, I don't think I've ever seen split pants here, which is great. Um, but I would also say that the language, like, it's nice to live in Korea and be able to, even if I know Hangul, I can go and like look at a sign and sometimes the word is like a English type word, like a it's like a I don't want to say it's Konglish, but it's like they take the American word, the English word, it's not American, the English word, and they just put Hangul in it. So like kopi is coffee, uh, pizza, like literally you could go to most cafes if you know Hangul, you can probably read everything because it's gonna be like Americano, like Americano. Like it's just like literally it's the same thing. So I think that's something I really like is like in China, uh learning the Hanzi, the characters. Like I can learn Chinese. I can learn the pinging, which is like pinging is like the pronunciation of the character, but I cannot read a sign. I go outside and it's just like I've just spent 6 months in class and I cannot read any of this. So I think that's something I really like about South Korea is that I can learn or I can read a lot even if I don't know a lot. 한국어 공부도 Yeah, I am studying Korean, but my Korean sucks. um, but I would say something that I like about China is the food. I just really there were just some meals in China. I love the food in Korea, but there's one meal in particular in China that I would get all the time, and it was this like long tray, and it was like uh, you pick kind of like Chipotle where you get to pick what you want. You check all these boxes, and then they cook it a little bit, but they bring it out on this long like fry pan, and you can fry it up. And it was like I love crunchy food. I love like crispy. So it was like you could crisp up the food in front of you. That meant like I want to Tiban Chow. That's what it was called. Tiban Chow. That was my favorite meal. I ate it all the time. And the fact that it's not in Korea breaks my heart. And they're very like veggie strong, whereas like Korea, I would say is more meat strong. So it was nice to like get a lot of vegetables, I would say. I am going to go in like 7 minutes because your girl needs to pack so she can get to Busan. Um, but the split pants, no. I'm dead. Yeah. Uh, it was just dirty. Yeah, it was dirty. But just like in Korea, they have there's so many people in China. There were people who were like, their job was to clean the streets. So often the streets were clean. And then there were these like big machines that would spray water out. And Korea has them too, but they were like on steroids in China. They were like massive. They were like power jets that were just like, and they would play like the ice cream truck song. Like it was the funniest thing just to hear like what you think is this like ice cream truck, but no, it's this like death of water. Like like if you were to get hit by that thing, it would hurt. They were so like powerful. Um, I do plan to stay here in Korea. I do want to find a visa so that I can. I'm really, really like praying that that can go well. I do have a church that I go to here in South Korea. Uh, if you guys are interested in finding like a good Christian church, I go every Sunday to a certain church, but I would rather you message me on Instagram and ask me what the church is rather than like post it on here. But that is my Instagram. It's just the same as my name on here. If you guys do want to follow me on there and ask me any questions. I also am starting like a new website, or I just started like a new website, and it's called Ko-fi. So if you've ever found any of like my videos helpful at all, it's like a kind of just like a way to, you can buy a cup of coffee from me, I guess. And I guess I can put my information here on the screen if I can find the link. But yeah, if you guys have just found any of my videos helpful, it's just, yeah, it's just like kind of like a way to support me. If I don't post it on here, I can just put it in like the link of the description later on today. But of course, now the one time I need it, I can't find it. But the SIM card video will be coming out soon. Thank you guys so much for having fun with me. It was so nice to talk to you guys, answer some of your questions. Let me know if this time is a good time to live stream, because it's a good time for me. It's just noon here in Korea, which is like, we love it. We're not a morning person. This is the link that I was talking about for the coffee. But thank you guys so much. God bless you. Seems very sweet and genuine. Wish all that. Thank you so much. Go pack. Yes. Blessings. Thanks, Trip. Thank you so much, guys. Yes, please message me any questions on Instagram that you have. And hi, subscriber. Hi, new subscriber. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Much love. Bye. Annyeong.